Howdy everyone, welcome to another edition of Getting Outdoors. It is the first week of June. Things are really taking off here, having some real good production up in the upper garden, the lower garden over here. As some of you know, in past episodes, we got lots of rain and that upper garden holds too much water. So a lot of the plants had died out and stuff, but there's still some survivors out there and doing really well. So I came out here today to kind of get a little harvest of our squash, which I'll show you here in a second. You can see these plants have just taken off all the way around. Plus then making sure that the tomatoes stay within the cages. And what I mean by that is, you know, I make these cages so that way they can really hold all these tomatoes and the tomato plants. But we have where, as you can see, they start growing out. So all we have to do is kind of take them out and pull them up and then get them stretched right up right there. So something I see here that we always have to take care of while we're out here, and again, doesn't take very long, is these weeds. Look, that's one thing I love about the Ruth Stout gardening, and as you can see, I already did some previously there, is that they pull right up. It takes, you know, this whole garden probably takes me 5-10 minutes to weed, doing that about every other day. So let's start over here. Let's look at strawberries. What do we have going on? It's getting hot, so production I think is starting to slow down, but as you can see, we still have some coming in here. These are going to taste really good. Now, if you have any suggestions on strawberries, I don't know anything about strawberries, guys. This is, I think from a couple years ago, I've just let these strawberries kind of go and they just keep producing and repopulating, but I don't know if do I need to thin them out. Some of the ones on the bottom, you know, down in here kind of get soggy and stuff, and I don't get much production of anything in the middle. Now out here you see where they're actually kind of growing out and stemming out, I'm getting good production. So I don't know if, you know, I mean, look at that. They're small, you know, little bite size. So I don't know what I need to do here. So down in the comments, please leave me any suggestions that you have there. Let's go around. We've got cherry tomatoes. Here's one of our cherry tomatoes. You see I've got a bunch of them starting to come in here again. We see here, you know, another thing I've been doing this year is making sure I get all the suckers off. I think last year I didn't get a lot of good production, especially right at the beginning, because the suckers were just taking too much energy. So what I'm doing now is I'm going in and pinching off any suckers, and you know, the suckers are the ones that are in between the main stem and the offshoot limbs. I call them limbs, but you can see how it's easy to take those off. And I just, you know, every day just kind of come out, check to see, you know, what production I have. And while I'm doing that, I just come over and pick off these, and, you know, they're pretty easy to tell. And I haven't been out here for a couple days, so it's actually easier because those have grown up. But you can see that they right here, hopefully you can see that right there in the middle is that little thing, and then all we have to do is pick it off and throw it down on the ground. So again, we got some other strawberries coming in over here on this side. Yeah, so it looks like to me that the strawberries like to go where there's light. So I'm thinking that these need to be thinned or something. So anyways, okay. So here's the problem when you start picking strawberries with dogs around. I had 4 strawberries in that bowl. Buddy, or Mia, did you eat it? Did you eat the strawberries? Go on. Here, take your ball. get out, and this is why I have a gate. Little thief over here. So let's go around. I'm not going to pick out stuff right here because I need 2 hands. So I've got, several blooms on here. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Got 1, 2. There's another one back in there. 3. One thing is that I have been very lucky this year is that the squash bugs have not gotten to my plants yet. So I'm hoping that continues. The thing, every time I come out here, here's what I do. I go in, I look at the underside of all the leaves. Just real quick. Oh, see? Now look. So there's some eggs right there. So with that, I will strip this off. And I'll take that and I'll put that into a Ziploc bag and throw it away. So see that they're in here, but what I'm hoping is that I'm able to catch them as I go along. So, oh, look at that. We got another yellow squash. These are all straight neck squashes. And it's kind of hard to weed inside of these, but as I go along and try to harvest this, I go ahead and grab the weeds. Again, look at this, how easy that is to pull out. And I just lay it right back on there. A couple more coming out on this side. Now we'll get into the green. So we're going in the zucchini squash. So there's one down in there, not just ready to pick, but I know, look, there's a big one there. I think I need to thin out some of this stuff because I'm getting lost. There's another one. So this one is ready to pick out of here. And normally I'll just get a knife, but look how big that is compared to my hand. That one's big. Now we also have this other one over here, and I know we've got a really big one that is right here. Now look at that guy. That is huge. And this one, that one's probably ready to go also. And then if you really want to see the big one, sorry for the shaking of the camera here, we'll get this in here. Look at that guy. That is humongous. These are the biggest zucchinis that I've had in a long time. So other than that, we've got our cucumbers. Remember, I built this cattle panel trellis, and look, our cucumbers are doing great. They're climbing up. I've got several bees in here this morning. You see one, I don't know if you saw him flying around there, but love coming out and just hearing that buzz going on, because that means we're gonna get some good pollination. Last year, I think that was one of our problems, was that there was not any good pollination going on. So same thing with these is like the tomatoes. As you know, they start kind of growing up, is just put them in where you need them to go, and they're already hooked up, but so that way they start climbing all the way up and over. So again, let's just keep our tomato plants growing on the inside of the cages here, and very simply, as I said, we just kind of pull them under, and well, every once in a while you have tragedy. So I think we'll be okay. I think there's going to be lots and lots of production out of this. Now my beans, I think these are, let's see, let's go down to these here. Yeah, these are called Kentucky Wonders beans, and haven't gotten anything from them yet, but there are some pods starting to grow out. So I think that this will continue to go. Again, outside, I've got, because it was so wet, I went ahead and over here, there, all the way to the right-hand corner, planted a watermelon, cantaloupe, watermelon over to the left. I did mound up some other things here. So like this tomato plant, as you see, it's all, really yellow in the leaves. You can see that's why I can tell it's had a lot of water. I haven't turned on our sprinklers or anything as of yet out here. Lots of weeds. Haven't tended to that in probably about a week, which I'll get to this weekend. But again, these are going to work out really well on the tomato cages. If you don't remember that video, look back. It's one of the very first. It's about building your own mega tomato cages, and the premise behind it is that those little small ones would have already been falling over with this, and these let these grow up high, and when they're up here instead of down here, then I can go ahead and put another section on top of it. So well, I want to get to harvesting. Look at these. Well, you know my ADD is kicking in here, but look at these tomatoes. I think we're going to have a really good harvest this year. Somebody's been asking me, well, what did you do different? Not much. They're really, last year had a problem with nitrogen, so I put in a bunch of urea in here. But other than that, I think it's because the Ruth Stout method. So let me show you what happens here. As I dig down to here, now all that's starting to break down. That's just really good soil breaking down, and that will get into worms and everything else that will help in that. So, I think this Ruth Stout method of gardening has really helped out. I've been doing it now. This is my second season of doing it, and so what happened is that the first season in the fall and winter, I put in all the hay. Last season, just continued putting more hay into it. I have now a guy who has some goats that I will go and pick up hay from, so it's got goat manure already mixed in to it, and I think that is also helping. But I think this Ruth Stout garden method is really what keeps the soil nice and fertile, and it's not drying out and losing its nutrients. So again, there's the strawberry plants. Someone please tell me how I need to take care of those. Y'all have a good day, and we'll catch you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.